Going live. All right. And we are live. It looks like. Hello, everybody. Everybody, hello. Welcome to yet another Whetstone Friday. Not Friday. Or excuse me, not Wednesday. How are you guys doing today? You excited to get into some copy? Hello, Kiana. You're actually up first today. Hello, Angel Things. And yeah, let's actually just dive into it. So actually, let's do it. No, not this way. This way. There we go. This is your first live. Welcome and thank you for joining us. These are so much fun for us to do. So it's always great when we have more people. Hello, Ashwini. Let me just zoom in a little bit. All right, so this first piece of copy is from Kiana, and this is their first time ever trying to write copy, so let's all be kind here. What do we have? So their concept, it's a product page for Cornbread brand CBD sleep supplements. The headline is Fall Asleep Faster, Stay Asleep Naturally. Subhead, organic herbs combined with ethically sourced hemp flower extract that helps you unwind and rest peacefully. The pain point / problem is don't struggle to fall asleep and stay asleep anymore. Our full spectrum CBD gummies work with your body's nervous system to drift off to sleep and wake up without the morning grogginess. We have some benefits. It tastes great. It helps you stay asleep longer. It's third-party tested, so that probably means it's safer. Full spectrum CBD. We have some social proof. I find myself able to relax and drift off to sleep after trying these gummies for the past month. I'm noticing the ability to stay asleep longer and able to fall asleep faster if I do wake. Thank you for your products. Watermelon gummies. I bought the watermelon gummies. They taste great. They've been helpful. Feel but overall better, and my sleep has improved. Cool. And a little CTA. Try risk-free today. 30-day money back guarantee. Ashwini asks, I'm a rookie copywriter, so I wanted to ask how I could start practicing writing ads. Can it be done without market research? The answer is absolutely yes. And the way you do that is by, doing what we're doing here right now. Literally just going out and writing copy. You could do something like this, like Kiana set it up. And so, pick a product, whatever product you want, come up with some sort of concept. What do you feel like the USP or unique selling proposition is for that product? What are the reasons someone might want to buy it? And then just very simply map out what are pain points that your audience might want to tackle. Even if it's not a real audience, even if it's somewhat contrived, as in you've made it up for the purpose of the exercise, as long as you're writing to the exercise, you're still getting those writing reps in. You're still teaching yourself how to think about writing through a copywriting lens, even if it's not for a real product or an exactly real, audience. As for this copy, let me hide that again. This is actually pretty good for a first attempt at writing copy. A couple things I'll say is organizationally, this is a little bit hard to read because you're mixing conceptual notes that you're trying to mark down for someone like me to understand with actual copy. And so one thing I would suggest, and we might see this in some of the other ones, just flip through real quick. Yeah, it's something like this where this person has copy down here. But before they start, they say, okay, well, here's the context of the business. Here's my target audience. Here's what the product and idea literally is. And here's the action or CTA that we want them to take. Writing this out before helps me understand for one, but it also helps you understand, okay, this is what I'm trying to write towards. And then down here, you can just write. You don't have to actually say, okay, this part's the headline, this part is the subhead. Theoretically, as I go through it, I should just be able to understand that based on the writing and how you've designed and set up the page. As far as the actual, quality of the copy itself, this is pretty good for a first time. You're definitely highlighting the benefits of the product, not just the features. One thing that beginner copywriters often struggle with is saying, oh my God, it has this many chemicals that are designed to do this, and they just bombard you with facts and don't talk about what the prospect stands to get out of the copy. So the fact that you're already gravitating towards things like this means you're starting to pick it up pretty quickly. Definitely sweat the details when it comes to, grammar, punctuation, stuff like that. There were a couple of times where it felt like there were missing words or something was supposed to be plural and it wasn't. So particularly, or especially when you're submitting something to be reviewed by someone else, make sure that stuff feels smooth so that I can just critique the conceptual stuff, the value edits, and not just give you, silly line edits that you would probably catch if you read through it a couple more times. But yeah, this is like a great first attempt. So thank you for submitting this. Next up, we have some copy from Mercy, who says this is a homepage for a hair salon. It's mainly created to give customers an idea of what to expect. Question, should I add more SEO keywords? Should I overhaul the design? It looks a bit too simple. Is there anything I should modify or add? And here's the link. All right. Oh, okay. So we click in, hair salon, home, contact hours. The first thing I'm going to say is top right, make sure you have a CTA button like this one you have in the middle. So right next to contact and hours, I would have a book now button or a call to book now button. I feel like today most hair places have online reservations. So one, if they aren't doing that, talk to them about doing that. But two, that is a super, having a button that's hey, just book now versus call to book now is so much less friction that I would highly encourage doing that. Because, even if you're on mobile, okay, to pull out your phone, you're looking at it, click, and I have to call, wait, hope someone picks up, hope it doesn't take too long, hope you're in the middle, want to talk to someone. Definitely some kind of CT up here. Would highly suggest the online booking. So from a Korean hair salon to Canada, the original owner and skilled hairstylist who knows your hair since 2005. We're open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call and book now. This headline is a little clunky to me. I feel like saying the original owner and skilled hairstylist feels strange. There have surely been hairstylists before this person existed. So the original owner of what? Do they have some sort of proprietary technique? Probably not. So I would maybe think about how to get into this a little bit differently. I think you've submitted some stuff from this business before, and because I've heard the knows your hair thing. I would think about, is this targeted at people with Asian hair who or maybe have a hard time finding stylists who can take care of their hair? If so, you should probably just say that a little bit louder, or have your background pictures be representative of that target audience. If you are leaning into the Korean hair and beauty products are super superior lens, then I would be a little bit more forthright about that. Just make this clear, because I can tell you're trying to say something, but I don't know quite what it is. We are open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. this is fine. I might say something like, we are taking reservations 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. Because if what you want is for people to book an appointment rather than just walk in, because that's more likely to actually lead to a conversion, I would tweak this language to reflect that a little bit more. Yeah, and then great. We love the CTA right here. Easy to find, very visible. Then we have testimonial, hidden gem. This place is easy to navigate and has great directory. The salon is so simple, neat, and cozy. I went for a walk-in, and the Korean couple were very nice. Lady was able to accommodate the style I wanted, and the man's very friendly. Talk about the price, worth it. Would definitely come back. If this is a real testimonial, cool. If not, I would. Some of this feels a little awkward. Like, if you are talking about a salon, it's great if it's easy to find, but that's probably not the main benefit that people are looking for. And so it's like this first sentence might be a slight waste of your reader's attention. So just be super critical about that. So if you were, this were a fake review, like I would definitely take that out. If it is a real review, you can still cut stuff out of reviews. It's not unethical to do that. If you're not changing the fundamental meaning of what the person's saying. So don't change reviews to make them sound better, but it's okay to shorten them or correct some spelling errors and things like that just for clarity. Services, haircuts, styling, special occasion styling. These are all a little, these feel generic to me. And so if up here you're saying that this person is super skilled and they're original this and they know your hair, I would love to see down here, what does that mean? And so even if it's still, you're trying to speak to, actually, no. My problem with these is that they're very generic, but it feels generic because it's like you're speaking to an audience that you believe is quite unsophisticated, as in they don't have a ton of experience with hairstylists or getting their hair done. If you were speaking to someone who you thought were more sophisticated, someone who goes to the hairdresser somewhat regularly, the kind of person you want to be a repeat customer, you're not going to say, oh my God, I'm going to give you a haircut that's going to boost your confidence. You would say something like, I'm going to give you the exact type of layering that you want. I'm up to date on all of like the newest trends and styles. Talk about the types of coloring, all like the different like gizmos and knickknacks and like things that signal that you really know what you're talking about. That's what you would say. And that feels much more aligned with like what you're going for here than, we're going to boost your confidence. It's all inspiring. Like, yeah, sure. Great. And, you're not going to sell me on that if I'm like, oh no, I want someone who knows what the fuck they're doing. More testimonials, process. This is fine. More CTAs. Great. More testimonials. Cool. We love the map and stuff at the bottom. Yeah, so let me just look through this real quick. Yeah, definitely, Naranjan. Like reservations are absolutely better than random walk-ins. And yes. So yeah, that's the main thing. Is I feel like if you can kind of key in on like conceptually, what is this thing that you're trying to say here? One, that's going to make this whole section more compelling, which is super important. And two, it's going to help you flesh out these sections in a more meaningful way. The testimonials are good. This section here, I forgot to say, is like suffering from the same sort of generic thing where if your USP is that this person is like a Korean hairstylist who like really knows what they're doing and has that like edge of like Korean beauty perspective on things, then that needs to come through here. Having a cozy family run business thing is like great. I'm sure that will appeal to some people. And if people are looking for this person specifically, it's probably not because of the at-home feel. I personally don't go to the barber because they remind me of home. I go because they cut my hair well, and I really do need a haircut right now, so maybe I'll keep going this afternoon. But yeah, and then just to answer your questions, some SEO keywords would definitely help. Like at the very least, like the city, and so like that headline could be like Korean hairstylist located in like Toronto Korea hairstylist or something like that. Like, signal the city. It's going to help with discoverability. The design is fine. It's simple, but for websites like these, you don't want them to be overly complex. You want them to be as clear as possible, both in the copy and the design, because at the end of the day, you're looking for that click, that book, that book now, that call now sort of thing. You need to just get them there. And yeah. Next. Angel thinks, I think what they meant with the original owner is the original owner of the Korean salon that came to Canada. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I kind of get it, but is it like the first Korean salon to Canada? Is that person notable in hairstyle circles? Basically, what does that mean to me as a consumer? If I know nothing about your business and I read that, the significance of that is going to be lost on me unless we're a lot clearer about it. And so if that's a big deal, if people are going to know what you mean, then be much more clear about it so they can get the full breadth of that and not have to think about it. Because also a lot of people aren't going to know. And yeah. Oh, like the person that owned the famous salon in Korea. Well, there's probably lots of famous salons in Korea. And so if there's a specific person who's famous or there's a famous salon, I'd say the owner of the whatever the Korean salon's name is started this business. Leverage their name power and brand recognition to help boost the credibility of your salon in Canada. If that's the thing. Let's see. What resources do I use to do market research? There are lots, and it really depends on what kind of research you're trying to do. This might be a shock, but Google is actually pretty good at this point if you know what you're looking for. And so if I am looking for, I don't know, like market research reports, or like I'm looking for things about like market share, you can kind of just look those things up on Google for the most part. If that data is hard to find, it's usually because it's confidential or it's being held in-house, or you need some like fancy subscription somewhere to get it. But for you guys' purposes, that should not really be an issue for the types of things you're working on. Or if it is an issue, that's like a, hey, client, do you have access to this data kind of thing? What else? Books are great. I think product research is pretty hit or miss for everybody in terms of, what is the state of the industry? What are the actual benefits of a product or something? But the kind of market research I think is really underrated is audience research. And so thinking about who's your target audience, what kinds of influencers and movies and shows and stuff do they tend to follow? Getting into social media, getting into the comments of similar products as yours, or even your own products, social media comments, clicking on those users, seeing what types of stuff they're posting, what types of stuff they're engaging with, looking at them across, Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, whatever, slowly building out a world of, okay, this is what the type of person I'm trying to sell to sees the world as, and then using that to inform how you write about your product. So yeah, you can do most of that stuff through Google. I know people who will use like AI tools like ChatGPT or whatever to, do some initial research and like quickly pull links to things. So don't just use it to tell you what the truth is. Click the links in there and like read through it, and that will often lead you to other interesting research questions that will blow up and inform your overall understanding of the subject with like much greater depth. So this next one is from Rashida's landing page, Valentine's Day sale. Okay. So happy Valentine's night. Make it unforgettable with 30% off our best-selling aphrodisiac gummies, powered by FDA-approved hemp and proven to help you stay in the mood all night long while delivering energy. FX Love, get in the mood, proven to stimulate and maintain arousal. Add to cart. All night energy. Add to cart. This is really cool. For you guys who don't know what this is Canva. It's like a mostly free like design website, and so you can very quickly throw together web pages like this. It is super, super useful for laying out your copy, even if you're not a designer. Just to one, show yourself, okay, this is what I think the page should look like. But two, if you are delivering like a sample to somebody, or you're trying to make a spec piece for your portfolio, this is a really cool way of elevating your copy from just some words in a Word doc to, oh, this is what working with this person would like look like, and here's like and now I can see what my sales page would look like. The only thing I'd say about this is I would get a little bit more space in between these two products, just because someone might be confused. Is this copy referencing this thing? Is it this thing? Just make sure that visually it's clear. Get in the mood when the night gets sexy. Love raspberry rose gummies. What to do. Relax, ease, and relaxation and euphoria. So visually, this is now a little bit confusing, just because it looks like the product you're talking about are these rose gummies, but then over here you have the names of other things, and so then it's like, are these all parts of or components of this product, or are these the names of other products that are similar? I think these are ingredients, and so maybe I would make these a little bit smaller. Maybe have like a little headline that's like, these things, like, these gummies include blah 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 to help enhance the moment, or something, whatever your cheesy sex copy is. Love that you have the button here. Always really great, just like make that super easy for people. Love story that lasts all night. I feel like these two headlines are a little whatever to me. Get in the mood, all night energy. And maybe this is a little bit too direct. I don't know what the audience is like for these, but like, get in the mood when the night gets sexy. Up here, it's kind of like, hey, you should be able to just like be spontaneous in the moment all night long. So is this a little bit different from that? Is this like, we need to take them in the moment? I'm not quite sure on that. But definitely, like, the key here is clarity over being cute. So if there are two main use cases for these, so let's say one is like for people that have a hard time getting in the mood, and then the other is like for people that have a hard time staying in the mood or keeping up their energy. This should then be, the getting in the mood like you have here, very directly. And I think this one's better of the two. And then this one needs to be much more about like, have the energy to keep your love story going all night long. Bad copy, but yeah. So this stuff is fine. I'd say a similar thing here, where this needs to make you be very clear that these are ingredients. And then we're talking about average ingredients, nanotechnology. This should be rephrased because it makes it look like nanotechnology is one of the ingredients, where what you're really saying is that maybe when I think nanotechnology, I'm thinking of like tiny little robots to consume to do something to your body. That doesn't sound like what you're saying. It sounds like you're saying there are tiny plant-based things in here, so like ingredients basically. But this then is a little bit misleading. So if there's a word you want to use to contextualize this, like plant-based nanotechnology or something, that could be better. The one thing is like, I don't know how appealing that is. Maybe there's a better way of phrasing this, like, because what it sounds like you're saying is like, we are doing really special things to these gummies to make them better and more effective. Um, and you can say that without saying nanotechnology. So like really go back and consider, like, is the nanotechnology what you're trying to convey, or is it something else about the product? Hemp approved, cool. It tastes good. Your love innovation stories. I would throw these testimonials a little bit higher up. Like maybe you could put them after this section. One thing you'll see pretty commonly is for there to be like a testimonial within the sort of product section. And so it'd be tough with this layout right here, but like maybe like, let's say you kind of like took this, made it smaller, condensed it down vertically. You could have like headline, product name, whatever, big, good quote up here of someone just like summarizing basically why they love the product so much. Just like leading into they taste good and they do the thing that you're saying that they do. That's great. Down here, more CTAs. That's fine. This is pretty good overall. Sorry, just catching up with the comments real quick. Should we add headlines mentioning why this enhancement is better than every other pill, and emails just to click and intrigue? I think at the point in which someone is on your product page, you don't need to do as heavy of like, this is better than everything else, because they're already, you don't need to push directly off of other products. But if there are unique advantages to your product over other products, I think you can say them. And so, for example, if there's some chemical, if some combination of things in here is going to produce a unique effect that is going to be appealing to your audience, that might be the thing to push them over the edge towards that purchase. Definitely say that. But you're so close to the bottom of the funnel by the time someone's here that like, you don't have to be like, well, fuck these other products. They're all trash. The person's already considering buying your product if they're at this point. Yeah, cool. All right, let's move on to the next one. So this is from Emmanuel, who says, this is my first spec work. It's a welcome sequence for an electrolytes company called LMNT. And the sequence would start once the visitor completes the discount pop-up on the website. So we got 3 emails. We'll probably quickly go through them. So just to make this very clear for people who don't know what this is. This is someone has gone to this company's website. They get the little pop-up, oh, enter your email for a discount code or whatever for your first purchase. The person has entered their email in. Now they're getting these emails. So the first email right after they've submitted their email is, welcome, get 20% off electrolytes today. Preview plus save 25% when you subscribe today. One thing I'd say in the subject line for these types of emails is like definitely have the company name. And so I'd say like get 20% off LMNT electrolytes today, just so it's super clear what that email is. Maybe this person has been to other electrolyte companies before and you just have electrolytes in the subject line and it's not clear that it's coming from your company versus another company. Just make that as clear as possible. So, body, welcome to LMNT. Kickstart your journey to feeling, performing, and hydrating better with 20% off your first order, free shipping, plus 25% off your first subscription month. Product photo, claim your welcome gift. I would also make sure that this is a link. So, like, if someone clicks the picture, that it takes them. LMNT electrolytes deliver the nutrients you need to feel your best, whether you want to PR in the gym, keep up with your kids, or get outdoors. Button, claim my 20% off. Great. You won't need anyone's recommendation when you start feeling awesome with LMNT, but until your package arrives, here's some reviews from our family. I've been using LMNT for a while now. It's fantastic. The quality is outstanding. It mixes well and has great flavors. It's perfect after walks or during dieting, especially on keto, where it helps prevent headaches and fatigue. The portable packaging makes it so easy to take on the go. And then we have another review. These are great reviews you've picked, or written, if this is just like spec work. Like, they are not just saying, oh, the product's good, but they're speaking to specific pain points that people might have. So it mixes well and it tastes good. A lot of the reasons you don't want to take electrolytes or protein powder is because it tastes awful. So way to address that. It's great for these situations. It's great for these dietary restrictions. It helps me avoid these things that I hate in life. It's easy to use. Perfect. We love that. The one thing is that I would consider adding is, like, in these first emails, you want to make sure that your emails don't start going to spam after people have gotten that discount code from you. And so I would add something about whitelisting this email address, or what people should look forward to. Kind of give them a heads up that they're going to get more emails from you, and that they should be opting into them. Excuse me. All right. So email 2 is getting healthy should make you feel worse, right? So what could we be missing out on? Hey friend, today I want to share with you the health journey that sparked a salty rebellion and the missing link that made all the difference in actually feeling better. My name is Rob Wolf, LMC co-founder. Founder? Is founder or funder? Probably founder. 5 years ago, I hit a wall. I've been on a low carb, whole food diet for years, but something was holding me back. I was getting healthier, stronger, and eating better, but most of the days I felt sore, tired, and with headaches. It wasn't supposed to feel that way. While working with my coaches, we unlocked a powerful insight. I needed more salt, period. The problem was popular products didn't cut it. They were too high in sugar and woefully lacking in actual electrolytes. So we started making our own at home. That was messy and time-consuming, but when I dialed in the formulation, I immediately felt my fitness, sleep, and brain functioning on new levels. That's why we created LMNT. Turns out I needed to pay as much attention to my electrolytes as I did my food. And I'm not alone. We've seen this play out across thousands of health journeys. My coaches helped me with this critical missing link. I hope LMNT can be as meaningful to you as possible. Button is try the difference, use code welcome LMNT at checkout for 20% off. PS, this code expires in 48 hours. Don't miss out. This is pretty good. I think you're doing a good job of the, like, let me take a step back for a second. When we tell stories, we're not telling stories just because we want people to know about our story. Some people do that, and those stories are usually bad. But the power of stories is that they are effectively like a language technology that we have evolved over time to convey information. And so when you're telling the story, you're not telling the story just because you should not be telling a story just because you selfishly want to feel heard. It's so that you can mirror to people a sort of journey or transformation that they themselves can see, understand, and then want for themselves. And so this co-founder is talking about how they've been dieting, they've been doing all these really hard things for so long and still weren't getting what they wanted. And that is probably an experience that lots of people out there have. So you tell this story not to say, oh, things were so hard for me, but to say, hey, I understand things might be hard for you, and this thing I did might help you, and so I want you to have it. And I think you do a really good job of telling the story in a way that conveys that. So, like, great job. I think your beginning is a little bit like, I don't think you need this. You could just like cut this sentence and come in with, hey, this is me. I co-founded this thing you signed up for. You know, I'm messaging you today because 5 years ago I hit this wall. Just get into the story. Because people will understand this. You don't need to tell them that like this was the missing link here. Yeah. So last chance. Doesn't look like a discount. Your discount disappears forever at midnight. Not sure what to choose. 87% of new customers start with this thing. Cool. Button, get the thing. Perfect ratio. It's pretty good. It feels like you're coming in a little hot with the urgency. Disappears forever is a little strong and a little dramatic for electrolyte powder, but your mileage may vary. And then the last one is, this is targeted ad subscriptions. So we're just going to get into, ever feel like your body sabotages you? You're not lazy, you're human. So they let us do the hard work by getting a subscription. This is fine. It feels like hey, your body is sabotaging you, so get a subscription is not the cleanest transition for me. I might use like hey, you're already juggling a lot of things. Take the guesswork out, take the thinking out of it. It will just automatically arrive when you need it. That feels a little bit more realistic as like a motivating factor here. But the copy's good. You continue to hone in on the correct thing. So like, yeah, you should be happy with this. Good job. Next, we have a homepage review. Let's see. Check comments again. I wonder if customer interviews can be taken for testimonials, e.g. a company gives a free sample to strangers and asks them, does it taste good? Is it dry? And secretly making them answer objections. Yes, absolutely. There are like testimonials don't just have to, or can be more than people buying your product and reviewing it. You can just quote things people have said about products before to use in your marketing. Like this is more of an internal thing for me, but all the time I will do interviews with people for like research stuff, and that will end up making it into sort of internal presentations that then inspire things that we go out and look for or questions that we ask people later on. But yeah, you can, if you're interviewing somebody and they give you permission to use their stuff, then like, yeah, absolutely, you can quote them. What are a few old urgency tactics that won't work in 2025? I think urgency is still pretty good. I think it has to be just believable now. And so if you say, this is your last chance to get this thing, but everyone knows you can get it on Temu or whatever for, even cheaper, even faster, that's not going to feel like a real urgency. So we need to be more aware than ever of, alternative routes to getting products or alternative products like ours. But for the most part, if you're like, hey, I know you really want these AirPods, and these AirPods that no one else has like this are not going to be on sale tomorrow, like, so buy now, that's still going to work. Yeah. So next one is, how are we on the zoom in here? Great. So we have another homepage. It's for leadership results / coaching for women. Target audience is female entrepreneurs. They're executives and business owners between 30 and 50 with school-age kids. Their current struggles: over-adapting to meet others' expectations, burnout from juggling high performance with cultural and family responsibilities. They lack clarity on how their leadership style is perceived. They want to lead with confidence and authenticity. They want to communicate more effectively and make clear decisions. This person has a bunch of coaching certifications to help people get all these things they want without burning out. Okay. And so, okay. So yeah, this is a homepage. This layout is a little bit tough. First things first, as always, like when you have a website like this, you have a call to action that you want people to do. So this person wants you to book a free call with them. That CTA should always also be up here. Like a lot of websites, this navigation bar will travel with you, but at the very least, like up here, if this is contact, let's see, this might be maybe it's a spec website, but like if this is what is supposed to be like the CTA, change this, make it a different color, highlight it so it pops, change it to something that's more obvious, like book a call now or book a free call, put it over here. Second thing is visually, this is really tough because the screen is like split almost 50-50 between like this thing that you really want people to pay attention to and then two other sections. And so the screen's almost like split into three. And so it's hard to tell, like, where should my eyes look first? What's most important? And then even when I'm reading this, it's still like somewhat distracting, being distracted by this other text. So naturally, I'm going to read through this. I'm going to read through this section. Then I'm going to read through this section. And then when I start to go to this, but this text is really small, so I'm going to skip over it and then immediately go over here. Blow this section up so it's like the entire screen. You can like put this photo over here. I think left align text is definitely better because we read left to right. And so if the first thing on the left is a picture, we're going to look at the picture. Then I'll start to look at the text, but then there's other pictures, there's other text left. And so it's, do I go from the photo to over here? Do I go from the photo to down here? Visually, it's not the smoothest. So put the photo over here. This text shifts this way. This button is then centered over the text over here. And then the entire thing is longer so that we don't have to like see this over here. Let me see if kind of similar to this right here. The photo could be in the background. It could be of something else. But just making it so that when people are reading this, they are only reading this. So lead with confidence without losing yourself. Discover how high-performing women are using behavioral clarity to lead powerfully, communicate clearly, and finally stop second-guessing. This is fine for me. This headline I like more than the body. This like the subhead. Lead with confidence without losing yourself. This feels like a thing that a lot of people, and women particularly, struggle with, where it's like, I want to be confident, but I don't want to have to be somebody else's version of confident. I don't want to have to act like a man just to show up. And so that this is like pretty okay for me. This is a little bit less strong to me because while behavioral clarity, communicating clearly, and not second guessing are great, those feel like a middle step to like between the things that are really motivating people. So like you want to be clear on your behavioral clarity, or you want behavioral clarity, like you want to know what you should be doing so that you can get a certain kind of result. Is it so that you can command respect in a room? Is it so that you can have a deeper sense of confidence that the way you're leading is going to get you good results? Is it so that you get anything else? Is the communication clarity about having people understand you? Is it about leaving no doubt so other people don't second guess you? this is getting you something else. And so show people what the outcome is, and what they're going to get out of leaning in with this coaching program. Similar thing with second guessing. Love a button, love a CTA. Good job. Is this you? You've accomplished a lot, but lately something feels misaligned. You want to keep growing, but not by burning yourself out. You're ready for clarity, alignment, and leadership that actually feels like you. You might be ready for this if you're a high-achieving woman who's starting to second-guess herself, even when others see you as successful. This is a good line. You're navigating strong personalities at work and want to lead without over-adapting. You're tired of trying harder and ready for tools that help you lead smarter. One thing I'll say is just put periods here. You do it over here, and you don't do it over here. Just put periods. And then if that sounds like you're in the right place. Let's explore what clarity could look like. Another design thing, like this is really tough because you have like up, left, up, right, middle, or bottom, middle, center. It's like the image is kind of like ruining this flow. And so I don't know if that's, shifting it somewhere like right or making it like the background or something. But yeah, this is a little tough. Also, I would consider like, do you want images of like your target audience? Do they look like this person? Is this person the coach? What is this person doing in this situation? This needs to be set up so that people see themselves here. And so whether that is them seeing themselves interacting with like a coach who looks really confident, whatever, that's one thing. Or having this be someone who looks like the target audience is also helpful. How coaching works. They combine these insights with coaching to help target audience lead with this. So step 1 is get clear, build strategy, grow with support. Coaching with Marissa isn't just about solving problems. It's about building a vision of leadership that actually feels like you. This to me feels like the main idea that you're trying to express throughout all of this. And this isn't really showing up as much as it probably should. Like, this could be your headline. Build a version of leadership that actually feels like you. That's super, super clear. Discover how high-performing women are, using behavioral clarity to get all these things they want. Like, that's actually super compelling. So lean into that more. CTA is great. We got some testimonials. Fiji. Your vice man first. This is actually great. These are fantastic testimonials. And like the idea you're working with here, I think is really good. It's just in writing through it, you lean into more generic stuff that isn't paying off how good the idea is. So just go back and kind of look at like, is everything you're writing up here paying off this idea? Because this is something that people will love and will, that's an idea that will sell shit. So like, good stuff. Yeah. And Niranjan also brings up a really good point. Like, losing yourself can mean a lot of things. And so make sure that you're contextualizing all of this through the lens of like, okay, well, what does that mean? Like, operationalize it. Does it mean never compromising? Does it mean speaking the language you want? Like, tell people what that means so they can say, yes, that's what I want. Do copywriters have to be very good at grammar and vocabulary? Yes is my answer. even there will be many times where you don't use proper vocabulary or grammar, excuse me, but you need to be able to communicate in a way that your audience receives the way you want. So if you are writing in a way that feels unprofessional and you're trying to sell professional like coaching courses, people are not going to want to buy from you because they're not going to believe that you have the skills, the whatever, to get them what they want. It's like if you went to a fine dining restaurant and the chef comes out wearing a McDonald's hat and you're like, is that the guy I want cooking my $200 steak? Probably not. So if you are not good at grammar and vocab, one, definitely get better. Two, there are lots of tools you can use to do that. And so like things like Grammarly, people use lots of writing aids these days that like will do a lot of that work for you. So yes, please do that. It will make your life 20 times easier. Next we have some meta ads. Let me see, who's this from? This is from Alex Alt. So these are scripts written for one of my clients. It's a health and wellness e-com store selling beef tallow. The angle that's working best for us right now is positioning our product as an all-in-one natural skincare solution. These scripts are written for an older audience, women 35 plus, who experience fine lines, wrinkles, and dark spots on their skin. Biggest desire here is to look younger and have glowing and youthful skin. They're going out for cold traffic and are in the UGC TikTok style video format. Cool. We'll love your thoughts on these, how they can be improved, especially the hooks. Each number is a cut in the script. Okay, cool. This is like fantastic context, by the way. Like this is super helpful for us to read. How many of these you got? You got 1, 2. All right, you got a lot. We'll see how many we get through. So script 1. I don't even know how to fucking process this because what do you mean Cameron Diaz is 52 years old? This was her just last week, and boy, does she look good. Listen to what she said in this clip. If you've ever wondered why these celebrities look their age in reverse, buckle up. I did my research and what I found was shocking. Just listen to what Cameron Diaz said in this clip. I fell for the 10-step skincare lie for years until I found out the beauty secret these famous actors all use to age in reverse. Just watch what she said in this clip. Okay. And this is a YouTube clip we would have our actor watch and react to with green screen, transcript below. Okay. I see. So you... Okay. Out of these 3 hooks, this first one is my favorite. This feels the most organic. And like on social, having like even your like paid shit, having it feel like organic UGC is so powerful in terms of like getting people like to at least pay attention through the hook. Something like this is not awful, and I'm sure it would work relatively well, but is gonna kind of throw up like the red lights for people a little bit faster. Her quote is, this is a great quote from her. Okay, wait, so I'm a little confused on where. Okay, so it's the hook into this. Okay, and then you say Salma Hayek also going viral for looking like she's aging in reverse. And they've all been trying to keep a secret, but I finally found this clip where she reveals what they all do to stay youthful and beautiful. She knows the visible signs of aging happen around the age of 25 because of our loss of collagen. And fat is literally the reason why these celebrities have been aging so gracefully without injections. I was skeptical, so I dove deep into this and found out that these celebrities have been using something called beef tallow. It's actually filled with vitamins and nutrients that our skin craves. Before and after, and ever since. Okay. This is actually pretty good. Definitely like this hook the best. It like feels very naturally getting into holy shit. This is like what did you hear what you just said? Like that's great. Two. So hike. All right. These are. Yeah, this is quite smooth. Like there isn't really much to say. Your hooks are clever and like entertaining. So like I fuck with this. And what'd you say at the top? So what's been working right now is all-in-one natural skincare solution. The one thing that I do think that I wonder is like, it seems like all of your ways in here are the same, where it's very much like, oh my God, I can't believe this person is as young as they are, sorry, I can't believe they're as old as they are. They look super young. Great, fantastic. Are you trying other ways in? Like, are you figuring out like non-celebrity stuff? Are there, like stuff like this where it's like not saying holy shit it's the celebrity secret, but you wouldn't put this in your mouth, so why would you put it on your skin, kind of thing. Because this could lead you to other creative ideas that could be interesting or whatever as well. So, or the pain point of it takes 20 hours to do a 10-step skincare routine and it's so tedious and so whatever, and it doesn't even work that well. The celebrities are saving time. How is it the people with the busiest schedules have such great skin when I barely have time to do my 10-step skincare routine? Is a way you can approach that. Yeah. But in terms of like the writing for social media, like part of this, like this is like very smooth, like well done. Like, like this is funny. But yeah, like great stuff. Do you have questions? Yeah, like your hooks are just good. So like, good job. I do, yeah. So like the one thing I'll say is like I would try out some like a little bit more diversity in terms of like how you get into these, but I can see you're already kind of working with them, and so really it's just like how many of these scripts do you need to test. So well done. Next up, we have a travel package to Norway. This is a practice piece. So the funnel is that a Facebook ad leads to a lead magnet, so people to get on the email list. 4 best places to visit in Norway. They've received a welcome sequence and 2 more value emails before this, where they were told about cheap hidden places to explore. Cool. So the target audience are people who travel often, at least once a year, and they're frustrated with the travel or with planning group travel. Yeah. The product is selling a package in Norway for groups. So the CTA is to click. Certain idea of discount to. Okay, let's see what you got. Here's the Facebook ad, TripAdvisor. No need for tedious research. Just a few clicks and Adventure Norway that suits your group's needs is ready. Okay. I know you're not like I'm sure you just like made this up really quickly, but I would hone in a little bit more on like what the pain point is here. So like obviously you're saying this is tedious and Excel sheets suck, but Is that the real hard part about group travel, or is it that you're having to like herd 17 different people to all sign up for the same hotel in similar places and similar flights, and that part's really annoying. And so if you were a little bit clearer here, like if you thought tedious research and Excel sheets were a nightmare, just wait until you have to like get 17 people onto the same flight. You have to convince 17 of your friends to book the same flight and hotel. You know, just be very clear about it. And the reason you want to be clear is because getting the people to click this to match the people who you're going to be talking to in this as closely as possible, like on that same message, is going to let you identify much more easily like how much this specific angle is working. If this is kind of vague and lots of different people could click it, the people who are going to resonate with like the group travel is tedious message that you have here, like you're going to have a drop off. And so you'd rather have fewer people click this and then the same amount of people click this than just like a ton of people click this and then not very many people actually convert through your email. If your lead magnet is more about list building or like where you are kind of in terms of like your list health, then like you could make the argument for like things like this leading to a lead magnet to build your list in the first place. But if this is mostly about getting people to convert off of like a limited time or like very right now or non-evergreen offer, then I would want a Facebook ad like this or Meta ad like this to be much more about getting people to convert towards a sale than about like building the list. Yeah. And I think you're right, where like this is mostly going to resonate with people who are like, I just want to book something right now, really fast. Not, I'm going to need to coordinate like my mom and grandma who don't know how to use the internet. So the email itself says, plan your entire trip to Norway with a few clicks in just 15 minutes. Book now. Traveling to Norway with a group is a nightmare. Planning it in this overflowing information age is extremely difficult, but what turns it into a nightmare is that you have to plan it for multiple people. We're going to share a solution that we made for you after a lot of effort, each with different personalities. Oh, sorry. This is clunky. I would delete this. So what turns it into a nightmare is that you have to plan for other people. Skip this because it breaks it up. Each with different personalities, preferences, budgets, and the last minute plan changes they want. That's enough. That's enough. Period. Traveling should be memorable, not gruesome. So we came up with a way to solve it. With what we planned and successfully completed the dream trip for more than 300,000 travelers from around the globe. It's more than the entire population of Las Vegas. No long calls, no tedious Excel sheets. And then your question for me is, should you end with a CTA here or don't reveal? So I think this is, you're doing too much in this email because like, one, I think the thing that we mentioned earlier of like this right now feels like it's much more about with your headlines about conveniently scheduling trips or booking trips than like a group. And then into the body copy, you start talking about groups, but you're really, really belaboring the point. Like this is way too long for like what it's actually saying. Traveling anywhere with a group is a nightmare, not just Norway. This, I think, is a sort of fake concern. Like, yes, people have lots of options and it might be overwhelming, but it's easier than ever to book a trip. This is the main point you want to make is like traveling can be hard enough. Traveling with a bunch of people feels even harder. People are happy to help book things for their friends or like plan trips for their friends. But like between all the things that happen, all of whatever, it's overwhelming, it's frustrating, it's annoying. People get into fights. You hate each other by the end of it. And you are saying to the person, you're acknowledging that like this that you are the person who suffers. So I think you can go from like, you know, traveling is great. Traveling with all your friends can be a nightmare. We want to make that easier for you, so we made a thing. We made a thing so we made a tool, we made whatever it is to make traveling with your friends not something that makes you want to pull your hair out. Have a link. This is like just so much of like yes, it's the entire population of Las Vegas, but that's not the point. People feel this pain at like a personal level. And from a brand like TripAdvisor, that's like a well-known brand, they don't have to establish the credibility that they have with this audience. It's like, you know, if Apple was like, we've helped over 10,000, we've sold over we've sold over 100 million pairs of AirPods. They never put that in their AirPod copy because they know that they don't need to build credibility with you. So like, leave that out. This feels like stuff that like could just be on the page, on the Book My Trip page. So like, really, it's just, hey, traveling is hard. Traveling with your friends is a nightmare. Or traveling is good. Traveling with your friends is a nightmare. So we made a thing. Here's the thing. Here's what it does. Here's what it will do for you, like benefits. So you won't have this. You will have this. Whatever. Click now. Having that one message, having only to explain that one thing is going to make this feel a lot smoother for you writing wise. It'll also make it more effective as a piece of copy. And then the Book My Trip page will do a lot of the work of explaining the details and the 24/7 support and on the ground support and, you know, Norway specific stuff. If this ends up being a Norway specific page, you know, right now you're talking about Norway, but I'm sure you understand that you could do this for any country. And so you could have targeted specific offers for these travel hotspots that people want to go to with their friends, and then just iterate and change out the name. So yeah, this is fine. Cut it down, make it simpler, and it'll be good. Yeah. So next we have a welcome email. Considering sending to a prospective client. After reading her story on her website, I believe it would be great if her story could be shared in a welcome email. I signed up for an email list and noticed there's no welcome email nor any other emails. It seems like they only send emails when they have promotions. The product is a nutraceutical drink designed to help women with postnatal depletion. Okay, nice. The goal is to build a relationship and understanding and explore the products that link to their product page. Okay. All right, so let's take a gander at the product. Okay. All right, so it's stuff. Sure. Subject line: what they never told me about motherhood. My real life experience. Hi, name. There's a sound I'll never forget. Not because it was loud or dramatic, but because it happened while I sat completely still, wrapped in a blanket, staring at a blank wall, while my baby's cries echoed from the other room. The sound made me feel like a ghost inside my own life. And in that moment, a thought whispered so quietly, I almost missed it. I am such a horrible mother. I don't remember the day or the weather, but I remember how the darkness in the room felt identical to the one pressing inside my chest. No one had warned me that motherhood could feel like this, but the same woman who once filled a room with laughter could vanish quietly behind drawn curtains, that joy could disappear, leaving only guilt and numbness. It wasn't until I had my second child that someone gave a name to the weight I've been carrying: postnatal depression. And suddenly, it all made sense. Why couldn't I move? Why couldn't I even whisper, I'm here, love, when my baby needed me most? while I felt like I was watching my life happen from behind glass. Recovery wasn't a lightning bolt. It came in 9 a.m. therapy sessions where I learned to hold a fork again without guilt. Washing dishes became a moment of peace. The sound of my daughter laughing slowly stitched me back together. And then something unexpected happened. A memory of my father's stories came rushing back, of a Mac Bidon in our family, a traditional midwife, a healer, a woman who had helped generations of mothers through the same storm I had just walked through alone. We talked for hours. Her voice was calm. She told me everything she knew in her ancestral Jamu. And for the first time, I saw what healing could look like. Not from the outside, but from deep within. With Sophia, my best friend by my side, through all the tears, therapy, tradition, and truth, something new was born from the grief I thought would swallow me whole. Samoedra. This is not just a brand, but a lifeline for mothers navigating the silent path of postnatal depletion. So Sophia and I've taken the same wisdom that helped me heal and infused it into nourishing nutraceutical drinks formulated to support mothers who feel like they're running on empty. This is the product I wish existed when I was in the thick of it, and now it's here for you. Click here for postnatal depletion ritual you need. Love, Ivana, co-founder of Samoedra. Okay. Story email, deeply personal. I don't know a ton about the product, and so the postnatal depression, postnatal depletion connection is not the clearest for me. If the idea is that these nutraceutical drinks are going to help give you the nutrition you need to stave off, cope better during postnatal depression, then okay, sure, great. If that's not what they're doing, then the really long story about postnatal depression, I think you're going to have to find a way to kind of pivot better into the product and how it's helpful. The writing here is like very emotional in a good way. Like you're leveraging it in a way that's, I would imagine, would feel true to the experience. I do think that at times it gets a little like vague. And so the story is good because the story is going to convey that you understand the situation your audience is in. But when it gets into just we're doing creative writing or gets into not gesturing towards specific things, then I think that's when we need to start thinking about cutting a little bit. Also, sometimes there's like a lack of clarity. Like when you say there's a sound I'll never forget, I actually don't know what that sound was. Like, was the sound the baby's echo, the baby's cries echoing from the other room? Because the way like you would parse a sentence, it's like there's a sound I'll never forget because it happened while I sat still while my baby's cries echoed from the other room. Is the sound the baby's cries, or is the sound a different sound that happened while the baby's crying? Or is the sound the thought that is she whispering this thought that she almost missed herself saying? Whatever it is, it's fine. It's a little difficult to understand like what it is exactly. A similar thing happens down here where it's like this part where it's like something unexpected happened. A memory of my father's stories of a mock bidon in our family. I don't know what this is, if this is like a established thing in the place you're writing. But it was not immediately clear to me. Like you could cut the sentence. Like what happened that you met this midwife? What happened that she came in? Is it that you remembered your father's stories and that he talked about how this person existed? It's always been a tradition. And that then everyone did this. So then you reached out, like what happened that this person just appeared? Because you're saying you talked for hours, but was she in the house the whole time? Like make that clear. It's also a little confusing narratively because you're saying recovery wasn't lightning bolt. It came in these really small moments. And so it's like story arc wise, it's like you're here, things go to shit, these start getting better. And then it feels like you're trending upwards, slowly you're recovering. And then something unexpected happened. But that unexpected thing seems to kind of keep you on the same trajectory. And so if the thing that helped you was this, and this also just helped you, it almost like takes away from the power of like the whole midwife thing. If you're talking about how, well, I was kind of already getting better anyway. So like figure out how to weave these things better if they're both important, or like leave these out. Or maybe it's, recovery wasn't a lightning bolt. I started doing therapy and stuff, but it didn't, and it helped a little, but it didn't help as much as I felt it needed to. But the thing that really changed the game was this midwife who talked me through stuff. But also, like, I don't know, it's not clear at all how this gets you to, okay, now I'm going to start a brand selling nutraceuticals. So if it's like, if the story is like, hey, recovery wasn't easy, I started doing this, but it wasn't enough, so I leaned into like sort of this traditional practice that my family has, and part of that practice is these herbs and rituals and whatever. And so me and my friend started our own thing doing this to share this with other people. That makes sense, but that's not the story you're telling right now. But yeah. Next. Any more comments? Yeah, okay. So next one, we have Jungle Play. I think there's a little explanation for this too. So Andre says this is like an early stages of a website. He has built, designed, and wrote himself. What a mensch. This is a high ticket service where we have pre-built playground designs customers can choose from. Typically over 10K projects. Target audience is people who want to build children's playgrounds that are business owners, real estate property developers, cities, whatever. Traffic comes from Google Ads, and once they're on the site, the main action they want is to fill out the contact form. They ran ads to the same website, but in Romanian, and got over 4% overall conversion rate in March. Some days 12%. Wow. Question is, how can we get rid of unqualified people that are searching for smaller playgrounds to put in their backyards, or dreaming of building? Okay, yeah. And I've noticed that most competitors also do not use much copy, only relevant information. They mostly showcase their products, which I think I did not do so well. Okay. Cool. So just like kind of general thoughts. So Jungle Play, request quote, we love this. Anywhere in Europe, manufacturing, installing custom playgrounds, building captivating and safe playgrounds while taking care of all the bureaucracy, design, manufacturing, transport, and installation. Designs unique to, like, yeah, technically, this is great. Indoor playgrounds, outdoor playgrounds, great for SEO, design, warranty, done for you, safety. Recent openings. These are cool. It's like great pictures. On the showcase. Typo here. So industries we work with. Attract more customers, hospitality. This is interesting. This is an interesting project because you're trying to miss who we would think of as like typical consumers, and what you really need is to sort of like if you're thinking about government projects in particular, or like local projects, you kind of need to hack like their RFP process, like figure out when is it that these people are thinking, oh, we need to find somebody to build a playground. What point in like a park's life cycle is that? And then figure out when it is that they look for proposals or that they like start looking for vendors themselves. If it's the case that most of those types of projects are coming from RFPs, then having a website and trying to get leads through websites is going to like miss that entire thing. Unless you become like the big famous playground brand, at which point they might come to you and ask you to, participate in their RFP. What else you ask? I do know you're saying anywhere in Europe, but it might serve you to build landing pages that target specific areas. And so you could have a Romanian version of this page, you have a French version of this page, you have a, Italian version of this page. It's so that when people search in their language, you're hitting those keywords in their language. Obviously, that becomes a translation problem too, or so the scalability is going to get difficult or messy quickly. But figuring out then like what are keywords associated with like these sort of like industrial or like larger scale playground projects, because right now it's like custom playgrounds. I also don't know playground culture in Europe very well. Like here, you wouldn't really talk about building a playground in your backyard here in the US. So if you were talking about manufacturing and installing playgrounds, the sort of assumption would be that it would be for these larger style projects, but I don't know if that's true everywhere else. So this might be like a sort of SEO problem where what you need to figure out is like, what are those keywords that are separating these types of projects you want to do from the smaller scale, like personal backyard projects. Yeah, I don't know the answer to it. The website itself, though, is like pretty good. You put your CTAs and stuff everywhere. That's great. You have good photos. If there are like, these mostly seem like interior ones, and so if there are, you want to have some good pictures of outdoor ones, would definitely put those out there. Yeah, it's cool designs. I would fucking play on this playground. So well done. Oh, nice. You're in chat. Okay. So these types of projects are the most rare. We mostly have projects with people starting a business in this area of kids parties, private kindergartens, so on. Okay, cool. The actual problem are people that have big dreams but no money. That's always the problem in life. Good to know the website's good. So thank you. Yeah. Okay. Let me open it back up. Yeah. I mean, that's the tough thing. It's like people with no money. You could do like some sort of like qualifying where it's like, are there certain things that only go in the bigger playgrounds that you like to build that you could kind of say, we build playgrounds with this or with that, that someone who's broke would not be able to afford. So, talk about the ropes courses, talk about trampolines, that sort of thing. Yeah, like what's something that like a broke playground would never have? And highlight that. I do, yeah. It's interesting though, because the more I look at this, like these things feel different than playgrounds. And like if someone wanted to install like a trampoline center, that feels like something you might actually need to like separately state or like advertise. And that's necessarily going to be like a higher ticket sort of thing, because I imagine that's more expensive for you, but two, the kind of facility you're looking for that is going to be like purpose built for this type of recreation. It's going to be another business. So that could be a possible way to solve this too, where it's like, okay, You're rebuilding like a Ninja Warrior experience. You're building a trampoline park. That could get you there too. A playground with ad banners. You could do that. I mean, it's funny. Like this is actually a thing that happens. Like plenty of people will sponsor parks or sponsor playgrounds. Brands will do it. There'll be like a little like logo or something like in the background or on the wall. It's a lot less obnoxious than it typically sounds. Yeah, I think it always comes down to like the niche thing and just kind of testing to see what works. Getting more specific tends to be helpful, and so like yes, playgrounds, but what is like the word you can use for playgrounds that is like going to be something that's necessarily higher ticket that the kind of person looking for is going to have much higher intent for. So for example, we always give like what is it, like not yacht cleaning, but like yacht maintenance as like a very, 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 very niche business that's also very, very, very lucrative. And the kind of person who's Googling for that is going to be much higher, purchase intent than someone who's just like Googling yachts or yacht care. And so if there's a thing like that within this that you can signal, even if your overall search volume ends up being far lower, you may come out, or one, your costs, your cost per click is going to end up probably lower. You will probably have less competition, but also, that lower volume might still lead to like a similar or even higher amount of sales just because you're getting a better or higher quality audience. So we play around with it. Next. So we have any other context for this? Nope. So we have an advertorial for a mental clarity app. Target audience is 55 to 60 women. Main points to talk about overthinking and dopamine overload. Take a quiz on their app and then eventually get the app. Images may need some work. I try to go in with losing confidence / beauty for older women. Okay. Let's see what this is. I used to get a lot of positive attention and self-worth for my appearance, and now I barely recognize the woman in the mirror. Here's the one thing I wish I knew sooner about overthinking and calming my mind. Overthinking is ruining my life, and it's not just my self-confidence at risk. John, you're a liar. You say nice things, but we both know they aren't true. I stared into the mirror, picking apart my husband's compliments. My skin looked dull, tired. I traced the faint lines on my face, wondering when I started aging this fast. His words, "You still look beautiful," just echoed hollow in my mind. During my 20s, I used to get a lot of positive attention and self-worth from my appearance. And now, I barely recognize the woman in the mirror. I've been sitting alone in the bedroom for almost 30 minutes, locked in spiral of thoughts that just wouldn't let me go. Then suddenly, the door creaked open. "Darling, are you okay?" My husband stepped in gently, like he didn't want to scare me off. "Please come down. The kids are waiting to have dinner." He tried to smile, but I could tell he was worried. I wiped my cheeks quickly with the sleeve of my robe and nodded. John is a good man. He's always been there for me, even when I've been too lost in my own head to see it. That's the thing about overthinking. It just moves in, takes over, and turns the volume up on every single doubt I have. And it wasn't just about my looks. My whole life is a mess. I couldn't focus. Simple tasks felt overwhelming. And it's gotten to the point of panic attacks at work sometimes. I'd revise emails over and over, then obsess for hours about how I could have done better. At home, dishes piled up, laundry sat forgotten in the machine, and I constantly lost track of what I was doing. Even finding my car keys or looking through my closet felt exhausting. I spent hours scrolling on my phone, trying to quiet the noise in my head, but it only made it worse. At night, I'd lie awake, stuck in a loop of mindless thoughts and imagined disasters. I feel like the older I get, the harder it is for me to enjoy doing anything. Until one day, a simple conversation with my best friend opened a view about overthinking that I didn't even know existed. The one unexpected talk with my friend that changed everything. Okay, this is 13 pages. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but let's see. What are you doing here? So it wasn't until a casual meetup with my friend that my life took a surprising turn. My best friend had noticed I looked completely drained, and we talked our way through. Even though we're the same age, she's completely different from me. Clear, calm, focused. She wasn't constantly glued to her phone, responding about a million things. She actually seemed happy. I asked her, how do you even find peace in this aging process? And told her about all the things I suffer with. Never stop overthinking, worry about everything. I couldn't keep my life together. I think your brain is just overstimulated. Too much dopamine. It's not that you're lazy or falling behind. It's that your mind never gets a chance to reset. Okay. So first things first, I think this you screw yourself over when you come in with this. Like this is like a red herring in your copy. This is not about her coming to terms with like aging. This is about overthinking it. And like that might be one area that she overthinks in. Like, do I really look beautiful? But like this is a different problem. And when you lead into something like this with like these huge existential questions of like, how have women developed their sense of self-worth over the course of their entire lives, which is a really deep, complicated question that we could talk about through so many different lenses, let alone industries. And you go from that and then just pivot to overthinking. It's a really sharp jump, and you've gotten a lot of emotional buy-in from people for this first part that's not necessarily going to transition into that second part. So I would lead in with something different, because this is like setting the wrong tone for what you're about to tell people. In general, I think you do a good job with like the emotionality of the writing, but the dialogue is like pretty rough. Like no one says this to their husband, like, John, you're a liar. You say nice things, but we both know they aren't true. Like even in the context of this conversation, what you're saying is like, he's apparently given her a compliment about her appearance. Oh, you look fine. You look beautiful. But like she would say at the very least, John, you're just trying to be nice, but we both know it's not true. Not like not a generalized thing about how her husband's a liar. That's a little much. It's a similar thing with like this section where like getting into the friend trying to recommend the little quiz or whatever. Like that's not how you would have this conversation in real life. If you want to do something like this, what I would say is like, yes, contrast with the other friend, and the person's like, maybe you're just like, maybe this isn't just like something wrong with you. Maybe this is like a chemical thing or whatever it is. Or, you need to get out of this. You need to break the cycle. Okay, cool. And then she talks through her own journey. I took a little quiz, like the friends, like how the friend tell her story of how she struggled with the same thing and overcame it through this, quiz, and then the app, and then whatever. That gets you the same message without it being this really like contrived thing of, in the moment, it's like the friend is just saying your dopamine is, you have too much dopamine and blah, 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 blah. Because her friend's not a scientist. Her friend has no credibility. So have the friend tell her story, tell her own story. And then have it be like, well, then I went on to, after that conversation, I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I went and took the test too. And it turned out that, maybe this was something deeper than just me being too anxious. I think that gets you this. And then you can talk about all this other stuff. Benefits, personal guidance, science-based strategies, simple non-basic exercises. I wouldn't say real users, real results. Real users makes it sound like, are you thinking that there are bots in there? You could say something like real results, but like generally speaking to, over 100, nearly 200,000 people or over 150,000 people have found help with this thing. I think that's good. It's great when you have testimonials. Stuff like this is fantastic. I see on this. Okay, cool. Yeah. I think the main thing to fix is just like this intro is like not where you want to go. And then like the quotes are rough. So, find a better way to kind of say what you need to say without making it feel super contrived, because people will sniff that out very quickly. Hello, Mel. TGIF to you as well. Yeah, I think that's the power of stories, where it's like, it's easy to get people. It's not easy, but because we all have these emotional experiences in life, having stories that are so based in emotion is a great way to kind of suck people in. We just need to make sure that like what we're getting them into is something that it is the right thing. Because if you tell me this like really emotional story about the loss of innocence in childhood, and people finding their place in life, blah blah blah, and at the end it's like, now buy this whiskey, I'm gonna be like, wait, what? So we just need to make sure that this is all threading down into the same thing. Yeah, so the writing, like this person's skill as a writer is, it's very clear. They're doing the hard part right. It's just there's this really tedious calculation of, okay, what's the product? What's the emotion we're going to tie to that the consumer is experiencing? Okay, what is the story that gets us that and still comfortably gets us to a space where we can talk about the product without feeling like too salesy or cheesy or whatever. That is less hard than developing the skill to write the way that person was writing. So you'll be fine. It's just gonna be some practice and kind of working through it. Next we have something. YouTube ad hooks from Shaw. So these are hooks for YouTube ads and metavids. Last time Sean was on a fan of the one hook. So target audience is relatively new Shopify store owners unable to run profitable meta ads. Cool. Offers winning static image Canva techniques that they can quickly use. Ideas that their ad creatives are why they aren't currently turning a profit. This will help them fix the problem fast while saving a ton of money in the process. Cool. Actions click through. Notes. I've kept each hook around 15 to 20 words. Okay. This is a great consideration. Make sure that like you're getting your hook out before people skip. I've written different combinations. Yeah, I think it really is like it depends. We typically work through the rule of one. And so like if there are multiple pain points, have each focus on one. Doesn't mean you can't weave in the others kind of to like color or flesh out or kind of add some color, but you really do want to focus on one. Some are UG style hooks based on testimonials. Great. We can start each hook with a hey Shopify store owner. You could do that. I think my question is the average Shopify store owner going to, instinctually react to, hey, Shopify store owner? Or is it, do you run a small business? Like using Shopify might resonate better with that audience. Okay, so we got some hooks. We got a bunch of hooks. So for this pain point of people are winging ad creative design, wasting tons of time. So give me 50 seconds and I'll show you the Canva trick that slashed our meta ad design time by 90%. I think conceptually this is fine. It's a little clunky and it might be like a reordering thing. Like give me 50 seconds and I'll show you the Canva trick that slash the time it takes us to make our meta ads by 90%. Make it immediately clear what you're slashing and that you're trying to save people time. Here's what 7-figure Shopify brands know about meta ad design that you don't know yet. Or that you don't yet. This is fine. If you could give some examples, like brands like blah, 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 know that you don't know or that you don't yet, like that's kind of cool. Especially if there are brands that are well known in this space that people aspire to become like, that's a great place to name drop them. Here's how we use these $1 million plug and play Canva templates to go from losing money to 10K a month profit. Super clear. Struggling with creating profitable meta ads. Here's the shortcut these brands use to create theirs. I think this is rethink this. This is not wrong, but the struggle people have is not with creating ads. The struggle they have is with their ads not working. That's what you feel if you're a small business owner. You don't necessarily even know, or you might know your ads aren't profitable, but you're not thinking, oh my God, my ads are profitable. You're thinking, oh my God, I'm not making a profit. And so yes, you have to figure out the ads, but the ads are not the point. Your goal isn't to create profitable ads. So, you could say struggling with, turning a profit on Meta is going to more directly get at that. You just need to make sure that what you're calling out here is something that someone actually consciously or could quickly identify with. Creating ads with this trick is like throwing cash into a fire. This is fine. You can probably amp this up. It's like throwing your money away. It's like you could say something funny here. It's like, I don't know, but you could make this a joke, make this more engaging. It's fine. These proven. Oops. Meh. I think speaking to the amount of time that it takes people to do this and then still not succeed is fun. It's interesting. There's probably a better way of doing this that is a little bit more engaging, but I think this idea is good. What if you could? This is whatever. You could say in the time it took you to make your coffee this morning, I made 15 ads that are going to turn a profit for my business or whatever. Or 7-figure businesses made this many ads that whatever. There's a better way to dimensionalize this basically. Yeah, okay, cool. And then the second pain point is investing in overcharging low quality designers to let them down. Okay. Yeah, it's not really like the first one. Meh. There's a kind of format I really like is stop doing this until you read this ad. And so it's stop paying strangers money to create ads or to create your meta ads until you hear this secret or hear this thing or hear this hack or hear whatever. Stop doing the thing that you already hate doing because there's something better, basically, is the formula. And yeah, I these are mostly fine. It's a matter of just aligning things in a way that's going to resonate a little bit more easily. Name dropping brands that people want to aspire to become. Calling out hey, people already know that designers on Fiverr aren't great. It's, hey, it's about offering them the alternative that they already want. So yeah. A little late, but will this be uploaded? Yes, this is going to stay up for forever, I guess. Unless I say something incredibly illegal and YouTube takes it down. Next, we have a book sales page. Let's see if there's any other context. Nope. So this is a sales page on a book on a different view of productivity, and it's for problem-aware audiences who are burned out. They use this as a swipe. If you're... Okay, so this starts. Okay, cool. So let's see what they did first, just so we get a sense of what you're going for. Gym records. Okay, cool. So first things first, typically for basically any sales page, you want some kind of headline complex, which is this thing up here, like this, like some sort of like title, so people know what they're getting into. This is, I'd argue this is like the headline subhead here. Yeah. So like you want somebody that's going to say like, what is it you're about to read? What's in it for them that they should like actually go through this? What's the promise? What's the secret? What's the whatever? What opportunity is there in this thing that is before this person that if they're going to regret not taking you up on if they X out of the page? So that should be like above here. If you're ambitious or a young adult, you need to know these three key principles. In a world flooded with fake gurus pushing the idea that working for yourself to the bone is the only way to succeed, it's crucial to understand how to work smarter, not harder. Have you ever felt that you're not good enough or not working hard enough? You're not destined to be in that top 10%, and you're forever going to be in that bottom 90%. In fact, that's exactly what Ali Abdaal thought. Who is Ali Abdaal, and why do millions follow him? He did everything with a book. He studied hard, got good grades, got into Cambridge, became a doctor. Along the way, he shared his productivity tips on YouTube, and by all accounts, he made it. But behind the scenes, he was running on fumes. Long shifts, 60-plus hour weeks, burned out. In his downtime, he wasn't recharging. He was just escaping, distracted, drained, wondering why he felt so empty. So he did something most people never do. He questioned everything. He scrapped everything he spent years following and looked for a new answer. That's when he came across something, the broaden and build theory. It showed him that real productivity doesn't come from pressure. It starts with positive emotion. When you feel safe and at ease, you open up. You think clearer, you get creative, you connect better, you grow. The science backed it. But the thing is, it went against what everyone else was saying. Okay, where are we right now? There's I think one thing that it would really help you with here is to kind of first brainstorm for yourself, but then get down on the page. Like, what are the stakes here? Like, what happens if you're a young, ambitious person and you don't understand these three principles? Like, yeah, sure, you have like the fake gurus, or you have these like self-limiting beliefs, whatever. But what's the bad thing that happens in your life if you don't get this? This guy's story that you're starting to tell here is like, he's already winning. He's doing all this stuff. And these people probably don't have any of this. But he got to all of this without the thing that you're saying that they need. And so there's a little bit of a mismatch already. If your thing is like you're trying to sell to high performing / ambitious young adults, like, hey, you are making it right now, but like you're at risk of losing everything the moment you have a bad day, because we all know you're running on fumes. Like that, like this story then makes a lot of sense. But if that's not who these people are yet, then the way you're setting up this story is a little bit dangerous. Usually the way you start these stories with like ambitious people is like, you take somebody who is like doing like okay, and then you make them hit rock bottom. Something terrible happens. They have to reevaluate life. They find a new way, and then that new way takes them to success. And then they come around to say, you know what? I hope you never have to go through what I went through. So I'm just going to share what helped me get to where I am so that you can have that without the pain of going through what I went through. These people want that. They want the results without the pain. So is there a way of telling this story that's like, not he had all these great things happen, but behind the scenes he was running on fumes? Like he was just burning out, but like, you know, maybe he was studying really hard and he had to, because he got good grades, because he was in this shit home situation. And so he felt all this pressure to succeed. And even though he kept getting these wins, he felt unhappier and unhappier and unhappier. And he has this huge YouTube following and all this money, whatever. And the more he grinds, the more he feels like he has to grind. There's never any relief or release. And then it's like, one day he's like, fuck it, I can't do this anymore. And he like, you know, that story of like, hey kid, you're grinding and you think that was like being gritty or whatever is going to get you your dreams, but the reality is that it's just going to make you miserable if you don't understand these three key principles. That could be compelling, but you need to just tell this story in a way that sets you up to you know, tell your target audience a lesson that's going to stick with them. Oh, there we go. Nice. New Year's resolutions. The New Year's resolutions thing doesn't really make sense. Like, it's another idea. Like, you make promise after promise, but you can't live up to the promises you make yourself. Like, that's a very different story than what we're saying with this guy. So I think just in general, my challenge to you is going to be like, figure out what is the connection between this guy's story and this audience you have. Really like work on, make that idea strong, and just run through it. Don't go back to these cliches of no pain, no gain. Don't talk about New Year's resolutions. Don't talk about promises to yourself. Just like, what is the one thing that your audience can learn from this guy's story? All right. We got a German course Facebook ad. So it's a problem/solution aware audience. It's a nonprofit website that teaches German from complete beginner's level up to professional for free. Funded by the German government. Who's buying it? Foreign people learning and interested in German for different reasons. Looking for a great source material which they could learn effectively. How do we appeal to them? It's a free online course that covers every level. Wow, even through CTM. What are we trying to accomplish? Attract foreigners and promote the German language by making an easily accessible way to great content. Action, just click the link. So on Facebook. So questions, what are text limitations on Facebook ads? Like, how many characters will they show and not cut off in the headline? If there are others, how much would it hurt the CTR if the headline primary text were cut off? Is it good enough to put into a portfolio? Okay. I don't know the text limitations on Facebook ads off the top of my head. I want to say that like back in the day we were looking at somewhere between 32 and 60 characters for headlines. For when it comes to like text, like body text, you have a lot of space. In terms of, yeah, like you have enough space here to do that. I would not worry about that. In terms of like how much is going to hurt the CTR so it starts getting clipped, it depends on what gets clipped. Obviously, you don't want your headline clipped at all. The description under like the link is like a little bit less important. But you definitely want like the main message or like the hook within your body copy to not get cut off like by like the fold with the see more button. Okay, so let's get into it. So learning German has never been easier and cheaper. Here's your chance to join one of the few German government-funded like education programs and go from complete beginner up to advanced level without paying even a penny. Elevate your German knowledge with a free course that contains over a bazillion exercises with lessons pushing you all levels up to B2 with C2 and C1 parts included. Is it that, just so I understand, is it that it's all the way through B2 and then there's like select portions that are C1 and C2? If it's that you get all of C1 and C2, I just say all the way through. But if it's parts, I'd say something like with advanced C1 and C2 lessons included as like a bonus kind of. Videos with native audio. So you can experience authentic German accent. So I wouldn't say experience. It was like so you could like practice with, so you can get used to, so you can have access to the authentic German accent. Efficient learning. Different situations. I think this is a really big thing. So like functional lessons. So like, lessons like it's like German you can really use. Asking for directions, talking about this, looking for jobs. Like think about those different reasons someone might want to learn German. So whether that's for tourism, talking to family, they want to move there. There's cultural stuff they might like. So like let's say there's like film or music or whatever. Like speak to those reasons because I think that's also gonna help you sell this too. Must know sentences that German people cannot go without saying every day. Constantly update your content. It's cool. All within one organized place. So I think like the sort of benefits you're outlining here are good. There's like, it's great. It's free. The thing I want to see most in this is like a stronger hook. Like this is such a great product. It is free German lessons for anyone who wants to learn this language. Up here, I need to see like you no longer have any excuse not to learn German. The German government just released this free program, this free like German language program, so that you can learn, so that you can go from like knowing absolutely nothing to doing whatever impressive thing, all for free at your own convenience online from anywhere in the world. Like that needs to be like the clearest part, and like go in with that. Because the word free does not come up until like down here, when it should be like your headline could be like free German. So like make that very clear. Free German lessons. They're not cheaper. It is free. Cheaper and free are very, very, very different things. So like, yes, so like go on super hard with that because you got to catch people's attention. Yeah. All within one organized place. For like, because this is like a government thing, I think you can kind of lean into that a little bit more too and say like 100% free German language course, like from the German government, like Germany's official government, like German language course or something. Like try to get a little bit more of that authority into it and like let people know this isn't some guy on Instagram put together a course. This is like a real language course certified by the German government. And for the description, I would lean into the free. So like, learn one of like Europe's top languages, like for absolutely free, like without paying anything. And yeah, I mean, the offer here is so good that like I think this will definitely be worth putting into your portfolio once you make some of those tweaks. I just need, the biggest thing is like making this part more compelling. All right, so another sales page. So any context for this? It's for a mock productivity course designed for full-time workers who also do copywriting as a side hustle. So how to effortlessly balance your 9-to-5 job and copywriting side hustle without letting dishes pile up, skipping workouts, and canceling dinner plans. For freelance copywriters working full-time jobs. This 7-day life audit system that helps overworked side hustlers go from 70-hour weeks to finishing their days by 7 p.m. Who wrote this? Arthur, nice. This is very clear. And yeah, so I like this. Very like, not only is it like clear as in what you're promising, but also this transformation that you're pitching to people is like very compelling, very clear. 70-hour weeks to finishing days by 7 p.m. Which I know probably sounds like not great to most people, but for if you're in the type of job where you might randomly end up at work until 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or you leave work to keep working, like that, like if you know. So like that's a really good call out. If you're a side hustling copywriter who is sick and tired of endless work days and feels guilty sacrificing your social life to make deadlines, I can show you how to effortlessly balance your 9-to-5 job, copywriting side hustle, and personal life in the next 7 days. It might seem like an exaggeration to say I can help balance your day job and your copywriting projects, all while having plenty of guilt-free time to spend on your hobbies, friends, and relationships in just 7 days. But it's not actually that crazy. My guess is that by the time you finish your job at 5 p.m., you're already mentally drained. All you want to do is crash on the couch and call it a day. But you have a copywriting deadline coming up. You drag yourself to your desk and boot up your laptop, but you struggle to stay in the zone. You push through the pain, but by the time you're done, it's already 11 p.m. In the blink of an eye, the entire evening is gone. Maybe you promised to spend some together time with your partner, but once again, you broke that promise. Tomorrow, I promise, you sigh in defeat away. I finally finished that project I was working on. Let's go out somewhere this weekend. And maybe you do find some free time. Maybe you find a new routine, learn a new productivity hack. Just maybe you get the feeling everything is under control. But then everything quickly collapses every single time. You're back to square one. You're overcommitting to freelance gigs to compensate for inconsistent opportunities. You're choosing between finishing a client project, resting after work, or seeing friends, only to feel like you're failing at all three. You feel overwhelmed by the workload with no clear system to manage it all. You're frustrated with yourself, feel ashamed and guilty anytime you cancel plans. What's worse is you've become the one thing you hated most, an unreliable person. You want to go out with your friends. You want to spend time with your partner. You want to just lie on the couch and do nothing, but you just don't have time. Suddenly, you question why you bother freelancing in the first place, only remind yourself that you want to make more money. You want to treat your family, your partner to nicer things. You want to make people around you proud. Here's the deal. You can have it all. In fact, you can have it all within the next 7 days. But you won't get there by doing the things you've been doing. It requires a complete mental shift, installing a new operating system into your brain. And when you do, the results are immediate and profound, like results you can experience next week. Okay. This is like a personal thing. I'd say, oops. So what you're doing here is you're opening a loop because you're not saying what it is at first. You're telling your story. But before I show you exactly how it works, just acknowledge that you're opening the loop here. So like You're saying I'm about to show you exactly how it works, but before I do that, there's something else. Because if you say, let me show how it works, and then you say, well, when I started this thing a couple of years ago, this, people are like, wait, that's not how it works. So say, acknowledge you're opening the loop, and then you'll close it later. So when I started my copywriting side hustle in 2023, I was working 70 hours a week, 7 days a week. Every day of the month. Okay, sure. I was barely juggling my full-time corporate job, copywriting gigs, and my marriage. I'd always be the guy with the lame excuse. I wish I could, but I'm too busy. Looking back, I realized my friends and colleagues probably caught on because I suddenly stopped getting invited out. My life felt like Groundhog Day, and no matter how many productivity tricks I tried, I couldn't seem to get ahead. Like you, I desperately wanted more free time. At the same time, I had big dreams and goals, but I didn't know how to have both. In fact, I didn't know if I could have both. So for months, I continued on the hamster wheel of the side hustle life. My alarm would ring every morning at 5 a.m., and that's when my morning routine officially started. After crawling out of bed bleary-eyed, I would jump into the cold shower, which was followed by 20 minutes of meditating. Once I completed my Andrew Huberman-style routine, I'd spend all the time I had working on a copywriting project before quickly getting dressed and commuting to my job. Then I'd come home at 5:30, run straight to my desk, and continue writing copy until midnight while eating dinner on the go. Some days I wouldn't even say goodnight to my wife because she'd already fallen asleep by the time I was in bed. It was exhausting. I'd hear that little voice in the back of my head saying, what's the point of doing all this work? Just to stick to your corporate job? Or just to stick to your corporate job? Why bother with this freelance stuff? I desperately wanted to find some productivity hack or routine that would magically add a few hours to my day, but I was stuck. Yeah. All right. So this is very good so far. I'm not going to read the whole 15 pages of this, but let me just like scroll through and see if there's anything that's like crazy bad. So for months, I tried every gimmick, quick fix, and success habit I could find. But what fixed the problem wasn't another to-do app. It was a $3 notebook. So one test I want to share with you guys that's like super, super good to do for every piece of copy you write that's long form is you should be able to more or less understand the story of the copy just by going through the subheads. So we start off with this. Let's learn how to effortlessly balance your 9-to-5 job and copywriting side hustle, without letting dishes pile up, blah, blah, blah. So you get in the story, but everything collapses every single time. Here's the deal. You can have it all. Let me show you how it works. Yes. For months, I tried every gimmick I could find, but what fixed the problem wasn't another to-do app. It was a $3 notebook. So like this connection is very clear. I tracked every single hour of my life for 7 days, and what I discovered shocked me. I want to show you how to install the same mindset shifts into your life. Introducing the product, a no BS 7-day course designed for busy side hustlers to supercharge their productivity and go from 70+ hour weeks to finishing their days by 7 p.m. Here's what you get. At this point, you should be super excited and begin your journey today. And if you don't cut your work time in half, it's free, but you have to act right now. Like, I did not read this copy. I understand more or less what each of these sections is going to say. So like, that's like really great formatting of this. Let me just go through this. Life. I'll show you. Here's what you get. So 7 modules. So that life audit, build your own focus in, define your goal, ruthless cutting, make decisions like a CEO, conveyor system, putting it all together. Yeah, this is very good. For like this section, it's like the price of what you're is like very, very low, and I think that's fine. There, even though the price is low and very reasonable, you can still do some price anchoring, and so you can have like a 49 crossed out and have it be 27, and then say why the low price, and instead of just saying because I want this to be accessible to everyone, say something like because even though I know that this has personally saved me, not just thousands of dollars, but like thousands of hours of my life that I now get to spend with people I love. It's more important to me that everyone gets access to this than I make all the money that I know this is worth. Like, acknowledge it's worth a lot more, and then say you're going to sell it for a lot less. The price is like still super cheap, but like that's a way to take this even one level higher. Money back guarantee is great. And some urgency. And I might add like a small reason in here. Why is it only open until April 30th? Maybe it's you're doing a trial run or a test run or something, or make it sound like it's exclusive, or you want to like make sure it's, keep it small or whatever. Having a reason in there, even if it's not like a super tight, whatever reason, will make it more compelling. And yeah, I mean, this is actually like fantastic. Like this is like, I would give this like an A. The writing is really good. Not just in terms of the emotionality, like we've seen with other people, but like you do an excellent job talking through what it feels like, the things you're thinking, like the actual things that people are juggling as they try to navigate these problems and how they feel through it. And so, of course, you feel bad about doing both things, about having your job and your side hustle and letting down your family, but you also feel like you have to do this because you're letting them down if you don't do these things too. And so speaking to that complexity and nuance, I think makes this so much more powerful and ultimately makes it feel like you know what the fuck you're talking about. When less mature writers would be much more generic and be like, oh, it's just so hard, but not say what makes it so hard. So like, this is fantastic. You clearly know what you're talking about. Like based off of the way you're talking about this here, as a reader, I would think, oh, this course actually probably is going to be helpful to me because you know what it's like to be in my position. So like, fantastic job. Yeah. Sell this course if this is real. Kidding now. If you wanted to, on some of these buttons, instead of saying get it now, you can kind of play with that copy a little bit, I want to change my life now, the first 7 days of the rest of my life starts now. Obviously it should be clear, easy to understand, but you can beat get it now. And I might add a button here. So like you've talked through it, blah, 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 introducing the thing, no BS, productivity course, get it now button, then go through. These other CTAs are also great, but I think you can do it a little bit earlier. Well, yeah. And yeah, we've actually, let's see. Red says, Rod, a client of mine said that persuasion is just manipulation. And he said it with what I felt was a small level of disgust. Would you agree? What are your thoughts about this? This is a fantastic question. Persuasion is manipulation, but it's manipulation in the sense that all human communication is some degree of manipulation. When I do this stream, I am doing it because we want to be nice and provide copywriting content for everyone for free But we also do that because we know that by doing it for free, for most people, we will make some money from some people. So we have one more. Okay. One sec. So like yes, it's manipulation, but like manipulation is not a bad thing. When a baby cries because it is hungry, that is manipulation. It is literally biologically trained to know that, okay, if I cry and I get food, I should keep crying to get food. It is literally manipulative. Being manipulative is not inherently a bad thing. We can be manipulative in ways that help people. We can also be manipulative in ways that hurt people. So we should not hurt people. And I also think that we should be a little bit more nuanced or a little bit less naive about what communication or business or any of these things entail. Lots of people are similarly critical of just advertising at large, but in a world without advertising, you don't know what products to buy. You don't know what products are available. And so while I think it's fair to criticize certain tactics, it's also very silly to say that, advertising or persuasion is just generally bad. Yeah, I mean, like if I feel like everyone has a point in their life where like, oh, you learn about a product where you feel like that thing could help you, and you are someone with problems, but you didn't know the product existed. And so the persuasion that person or advertiser is using to put the product in front of you is a form of manipulation, but also it's helpful. So there's a really big trade-offs there. I understand where people come from when they say it's manipulative, but also I think that we can be adults and acknowledge the nuance in those situations. All right, Emmanuel, let me find yours real quick. 1, 2, 3. Pedal band. Yeah, just trying to convince someone necessarily carries persuasion or involves persuasion. All right. Context. This copy is positioned at the bottom of a sales funnel with a reader. You guys can see this, right? Okay, yeah. So, the reader is already familiar with the challenges of improving their paddle game and is seeking a solution. All right, first of all, what is paddle? Racket sport of Mexican origin. Is this like... Okay. Oh, you learned something the other day. Okay, so it's a sports game. So people want to get better. Unlock your true potential with this AI performance tracker. There's a sensor. And the action is like click to go check out. So is this a sales page? Sales page, okay, cool. So buy now. So unlock your performance with this tracker. For players ready to stop guessing and elevate their game with precise real-time insights. I would you can probably beat this headline. Like on a sales page, you get to be very direct. And so the clarity here is like great, but is it about unlocking your performance? Is it about taking your potential? Is it about taking your performance to the next level? Are there certain types of hits? Are there certain things that someone wants to do or learn how to do that this thing is going to help them with? The more specific you can get, the better. So I would definitely try to beat this headline. So there's a video, cool mobile app, fantastic. So meet the band. This little sensor attaches easily to your racket and uses AI to analyze your shots and playing style, delivering personalized insights to accelerate your improvement. Cool. Image. Cool. We love it. Features. So get detailed analysis of every shot so you know what to improve. Easy, secure attachment to any racket. Clips on effortlessly. Maybe add something here about how it's not going to like mess up or damage your racket. It's like easy, safe, secure attachment. And like also not worrying about the sensor flying off. It's probably a big thing. Real-time feedback and personalized coaching. Receive instant insights and customized training tips that help you sharpen your skills. Lightweight and durable design. Impact resistant. Great. Cool. Is there... Yeah, okay, cool. 1 minute setup. Cool, we like it. Just clip. Activate the app. Play. Perks. Now, this is not clear to me what this means. #1 paddle manufacturer. Is that like you're the best? Like, do you make the paddles also, or are you just whatever? And I wouldn't call this our perks. It's like about us, like what we do, or like, you know, our impact, or our, you know, why we're qualified to sell you this stuff is what this really means. But there's definitely a better way to say this. It refers to the business. They sell more things. Cool. Okay. Then I would change this to like #1, like paddle accessory or something manufacturer, whatever it is you do. Just be more specific about what it is. So partner clubs, happy players, free shipping worldwide. These two middle ones to me are kind of, I don't know how important they are. Like, is this happy customers? Like people who bought your stuff? Sure. But if it's just people who play with your stuff, are there famous players who use your stuff? Do professional people use it? Yeah. So money back guarantee, lifetime access, customer support, great. Buy now. Was that the first CTA? Okay, no. There you go. Another one. Frequently asked questions. How do you do it? Will it fill a racket? How long does it last? Is it easy to use? Nope. Buy now. Great. You know, this is pretty good. I think with like the videos and stuff, it'll definitely be fine. Did you have any like specific questions on this, or like stuff that you're worried about? Because I think organization-wise, this is actually pretty good. So. Okay, awesome. Thank you for submitting this copy. So that is actually the last one we're going to do for today. Thank you guys for coming to yet another Whetstone Friday. If you would like for your copy to be featured on the next one of these, you can do that by going to, please, by joining us at patreon.com/thecopythatshow and signing up for our $20 tier, I think it is. If you do that, you get access to some cool Discord channels where you can submit copy like this for reviews on our streams, but also some other bonuses, tons of like free content, way too many master classes to count, some like spicy exclusive Discord channels with like priority questions and fun stuff like that. So, you know, if you'd like to do that, we would love to read your copy next time. And if not, that's also completely cool. You're a wonderful person, and I hope you have a great weekend, but you might have a better one if your copy were on the stream next time. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you guys for joining me. As always, it's like so much more fun when I have people here in chat to chat with. So yeah, like have a great weekend. Go off and make that money. Peace.